What is one of the dumbest things you've done when your brain was on autopilot? I was a kitchen employee at Arby's when I was 18. We used to have sub rolls that were foot long, but the only subs we sold were 6-inch. So you had to cut each roll in half before you used it. I was just zoned out one day, and I ended up cutting the sub roll in half, putting the knife back in the sub roll bag, and then trying to use the sub roll to cut the next sandwich. My manager saw it and ducking died. Was brushing my teeth and went to throw something away but ended up spitting all over the floor instead. I've gotten in my car on the weekends to go somewhere and gone on autopilot and realize it as I'm pulling into my work's parking lot. I'm like, why the duck did I drive to work? Went to the gym, walked right past the desk where you check in and get a locker key, walked into the locker room, stood in front of a locker and was absolutely puzzled about what to do next. I put my dirty plate in the freezer instead of the dishwasher. I used a key fob from my car to lock my refrigerator. Yeah, I don't know either. Wake up in the middle of the night to take a pee, then just autopiloted into my morning routine. It wasn't until after I drank my coffee that I realized it was only 3 AM and that I wasn't going to be able to go back to sleep. I had a dislocated knee and kicked a soccer ball that was coming towards me. A couple of weeks ago, I was driving home, but instead of going to my current house, I drove to my old house. I haven't lived there in over 5 years. I pulled into the driveway and luckily I realized what I had done before I actually got out of the car. I was working fast food and taking orders both inside and for the drive-thru. I took someone's order inside at the counter and told them to pull forward to the second window. Was holding my phone and ice cream in a cone. Phone rang. Answered ice cream. A sticky ear is surprisingly uncomfortable. Waited at a stop sign for 5 minutes thinking it was a red light. I was not on my phone. I didn't hold anybody else up luckily. Continuously jammed my work key into my house door. My work key is a big silver one and my house key is one of those picture ones with a bunny on it. Drove 17 miles past my interstate exit before I snapped back to reality. I slathered my face with hair gel this morning. Flipped my Kindle over to read the other side of a document. When I was a brand new mom on maternity leave, but still trying to juggle law school and a newborn, my sister-in-law had an emergency and had to leave her Boston Terrier with me. Even though he was a very well-behaved dog and had met the baby, we still kept them separated just in case. One morning, after my husband left for work, I picked up the baby up out of the bassinet and went downstairs to make coffee. My husband had forgotten something and promptly came right back in to find me at the counter, brewing coffee, rocking a black and white dog in one arm, while our son still quietly chilling in his bassinet upstairs. He took the day off from work and I went back to sleep. Tore open a sugar packet, poured it directly into the trash, tossed the empty paper packet into my coffee. My brother ordered nachos at a Mexican restaurant, grabbed a chip and proceeded to watch himself dip it into his tea. After about 2 dips, he came back into reality, shook his head and went, "What? My mother is an EMT." After a 24-hour shift she came home and tried to unlock the front door with her car keys button and did that for about 5 minutes. I once drove to work when I was supposed to drop my younger brother off at school. Neither of us seemed to notice until we got to my workplace and I had turn around. He was late. Put a dog biscuit into the washing machine instead of a detergent pod. I realized before turning it on, so I was able to recover it. Overshot an exit that I've used hundreds of times. Didn't notice and ended up driving another 50 miles before realizing that I was way out of the city's boundaries. Still don't remember any of the in-between. Just starting to drive and then realizing I had no idea where I was. Put the cereal box in the fridge. I pet my laptop thinking it was my dog. Not me, but one time my GF got handed her drink at Starbucks, said thanks, went over to the bar to get cream or something and immediately dropped her fresh drink straight into the trash can at the bar. Her mother and I just looked at her and started laughing. The barista saw what happened and with a "it happens" attitude agreed to replace the drink. It also helped that no one was in there except us, haha. We still bring it up every now and then and all laugh. My GF included. Had a drink in my hand and dumped it out because I checked the time on my watch. Let a coffee machine run without a jug under it. Went to take a shower and had to clean up the mess afterwards. I told my friend "you're welcome" after he sneezed and excused himself the other day. When I was like 9 or 10, my grandparents had a beach house in Biloxi, Mississippi. I know. Why the hell there? Anyway, the condominium complex had a pool and my mother took me to the pool as the adults were going off gambling and whatnot. Mom and I arrive at the pool and there's a girl there. Maybe 13 or 14? Me, being on the edge of full-blown adolescence, was locked on her. So mom was talking about God knows what at the time. I'm just haha. Yeah mom, while watching this girl swim and loading her into my 10-year-old spank bank. I begin to take off my shirt. But I had gone full autopilot and slid my swim trunks down as if I was about to get into a shower. Oh duck. I pulled them back up because I think the girl had noticed but mom didn't. I told my mother I had to take a wicked it and went back to the condo, and now I have this horrid memory to look back on every now and again, even into my late 20s. I do so much dumb ducking stuff while on autopilot, and it doesn't help that I'm on autopilot more often than not. Plus thrown away so many spoons and forks. Then had to dig in the trash to get them back out. Plus threw away my phone instead of my trash more times than I care to mention. Plus where are my keys? Where are my keys? Oh, that's right. They're in the fridge cause duck you. That's why. Plus throw away something I was eating. Plus where's my phone? Where's my goddamn phone? In the closet on the top shelf underneath a stack of papers cause duck you, that's why. I was trying to make some scrambled eggs. Basic prep. Crack the eggs. Put the eggs in a bowl. Toss the shell. I dumbus. Crack the egg. Put egg in the trash. I literally stood above the trash can with the shell in my hands processing what had just happened for about 30 seconds. I just had the faint feeling of I ducked up and was wondering exactly how for way too long. The amount of times I've gone to the shop to buy something and left without picking up said item is too damn high. I shook my phone to see how full the battery was. Lifted my welding mask up and forgot it was on my head. Then went to get a new mask. I was riding passenger in my car with my wife driving. I was sort of brain dead after work while we were carpooling and we came to a stoplight. It turned green but the car in front of us wasn't moving for a few seconds. I was trying to call the car a methodica and then tell my wife to honk, but ended up saying honk mother ducker. Let me tell you, the look my wife had on her face before she realized I was being retarded was something unique. So now it has become a joke between us cause she started laughing her ass off once I realized what I had done moments later and I went wait no, that isn't what I meant. I woke up, so I automatically got dressed, prepared things to school and started making myself a breakfast. Suddenly my dad appears in the kitchen, saying, "It's 3 in the morning and it's Sunday. What the hell are you doing?" Put pasta on the stove, but forgot to add water. For another half hour, I was hearing the cackling noise of burning pasta and thinking I wonder where this noise is coming from. The smell finally got to me. I've had two, both driving related for some reason. One, I was at the grocery store pushing my car through the aisle, as you do. Then, when I went to turn left into another aisle, I tried to put on my blinker for some reason. 2. Class was just ending and as I was about to stand up to leave, I reached down to unbuckle my seatbelt. Edit. Wow. Thanks for the silver kind stranger. Also, thanks to everyone for laughing at my stupidity. I have learned the hard way that if you hold money in one hand, you never have trash in the other. It is impossible to throw the correct item away. I picked shaving foam can instead of antiperspirant and spray it on my underarm. Took it as a sign from the Almighty and ended up shaving my underarm. My brother used the washroom before bedtime and it was my turn to go now. I wanted to brush and we had newly shifted so everything was in a mess, and hence I couldn't find the toothpaste. So I asked my bro where he kept it, and when I couldn't find it where he said it was, he came to check himself and handed me the shaving cream. When I pointed it out, he said that's why it tasted odd. I just thought it was from a different brand from around here. TLDR, my brother used shaving cream as toothpaste. I work at a busy restaurant, so I end up saying corner hundreds of times a night as I go back and forth around corners and doorways in the kitchen. Was running food to a table. Set it down gently, and in my sweetest customer service voice I said corner while looking the customer right in the eye instead of here is your soup or something like I usually do. They looked confused. My brain tried to reset, and so naturally I said thank you as if that made it better. I ended up just backing away. It was a lost cause. My mom had taken my lunch out of the fridge so I wouldn't forget it, which I did once. While on autopilot I put it back. Poured milk and water in the same glass. Put the flaps down mid-flight. Put the milk jug into the drawer with the cups in it. My morning routine included drive-through breakfast at McDonald's back when they had the garbage can in the lane. Every morning I'd get my breakfast, pull up, and throw away yesterday's old bag and random trash. One day my superior intellect decided to just simplify the process and chunk the new breakfast in the trash. Realized it the moment after it mattered. Pulled around for try number 2. Peed in the trash can. Wasn't even thinking. Just got up, walked towards it, opened the lid thinking it's the toilet seat and let it rip. By the time I realized it way too late and I just committed to it. The bags are waterproof after all. I poured water from a kettle in my French press, cafeteria, let the coffee brew, poured it into a mug, added caramel syrup, took it up 2 flights of stairs, took a sip and nearly spat it out. I'd done all that before realizing I hadn't boiled the kettle. Most heartbreaking cup of coffee ever. I normally wear contacts, but sometimes don't put them in on the weekends. Getting ready for bed on a Saturday, put my contacts in, lay down in bed, and realized I could see clearly. Felt like Peter Parker after he first got bit by the spider. Walking into my room from the kitchen, cup or OJ in one hand and my phone in the other, bent to throw my phone on the bed. Accidentally ended up throwing my juice into my bed. I was so annoyed I didn't even bother cleaning it up until the morning. Slept on the couch. Thrown a bowl of cereal on my bed. God blessed me, because even though it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I like to eat it dry. All kinds of things when I've first woken up, either in the bathroom or kitchen. Put body wash in my hair instead of shampoo. Put shampoo on my body instead of body wash. But hair gel on my toothbrush. Reapplied deodorant a few times because I couldn't remember if I just did. Put dry. Fortunately, dog food in my cereal bowl, and cereal in my dog's bowl. The absolute worst was one time I opened a can of wet dog food and licked the lid. Earlier today I filled up my electric kettle at the tap and then went to place it in the microwave. In my defense, I was about to make myself some instant ramen, and I was only half focusing on the job at hand while thinking of other things. One evening I was playing Europa Universalis and I was pretty immersed in the gameplay. Suddenly I thought I could grab a beer, so I paused the game and went to the fridge for one, but there were none. Weird, though. I was almost sure I had at least 3 bottles there, so I returned to the computer and all 3 bottles stood and opened on my desk. Apparently, I had the same thought 4 times already, but every time I got back to the computer I forgot about the beer and went back to playing without remembering the incident. Walk naked in my son's bedroom. I was stepping out of the shower, and his bedroom used to be mine in my childhood. This is a while ago, but I was working at McDonald's and worked in the morning, not a morning person. Still not. My brain wakes up around 10 AM and I think it was like 8 AM. And I handed this lady her large coffee and the sun shined bright in my eyes and all I said was praise the sun and she looked at me all weird and drove off. I woke up and saw that the clock said 6. Work started at 5. I shot out of bed, threw on clothes, and sped to work. Something seemed off, but I was late. No time for that now. I walked in, past an area that wasn't running on my shift yet and thought to myself, wonder when they started that. It started dawning on me when I made it to my line. There was the day shift person, the person I relieved every day when I showed up. She looked at me like I had two heads. It was 6 AM. I didn't have to work until 5 PM. I shamefully told the shift manager what happened, clocked back out, and went back to bed. I worked in that company for 4 years after that, and to my last day, my manager gave me it about it.